This is Tom Cruz. He's a real estate coach who teaches people how to invest in Section 8 properties, and he makes over $1 million a month from his coaching using webinar funnels. I went through his entire funnel, every opt-in, every page, every email sequence, every text message. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how his funnel works and exactly why his strategies are so effective. That way you can take these same strategies and apply them to your coaching business. First, let's look at how Tom Cruz generates leads. So we see that he's primarily using TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook to bring in new people to his pipeline. He's not really using ads at the moment. He's using primarily organic content. And all of his content is doing the same thing. It's getting people to know who he is, like him as a person and an individual, and then buy into him and trust him enough to actually buy his Section 8 program. So if we look at his organic content, we notice a few things. He first starts out with lifestyle and aspirational content. So this is him flexing his yachts, flexing his cars, showing his lifestyle. And what this does is this attracts his dream follower. His dream follower is not necessarily the same as his ideal customer profile or his ICP. His dream follower is anyone who wants to make enough money to actually afford the things that he has. And when he posts this type of content, it allows him to have such a high reach. Like you see in this video, it has 2 million views. This one has 10.4 million views. Imagine the amount of people who saw that, who maybe they don't even know about Section 8 real estate yet, but they want to make enough money to afford the lifestyle and the things that he has. That's why it's so important to post things that have a wide reach so that you not only attract your ICP, but you also attract your dream follower. Because with these algorithms on social media, if he were to only post Section 8 content and he only posted about, fixing up houses or how to get, a loan for a Section 8 property, then he would only attract people who are already interested in that. And it might cause him to not be able to attract as many people who would be his ICP if he just made wider reaching content. So this type of content actually gives him the ability to attract more people who would be interested in his offer. Now, I want you to notice another thing here. He always puts a call to action in his caption. This was posted last year and it's still getting comments. And he says what? This was funded by Section 8. Learn how to get started and join my free live training in the bio. So now anyone who sees that can sign up for his webinar, whether they know about Section 8 or not. Now they can learn about it. So this is the know part. He's getting people to know about who he is and then know about his offer. Now, psychologically, what does this do? This creates a gap between who the person is and where they want to be. Because when they see the lifestyle, when they see the cars, when they see the Miami penthouse, they think about subconsciously where they're at now and how far away that thing is. So now what Tom Cruise can do is he can implant himself as the vehicle to get to this desire. The last thing about this lifestyle content that I want to touch on is that what it does is it helps to legitimize his offer. He can tell people, I made a lot of money off of Section 8 and I'm rich and stuff, but most people are not going to believe that unless they see some sort of proof. So a lot of guys are saying like, oh, don't flex your lifestyle, don't show too much of, your cars and stuff because it's going to attract broke leads. And yeah, sure, it might. But on the other hand, what it does is it helps people to actually understand that you make money. If people don't see some sort of proof that you actually make the money that you make, you may not be able to stimulate enough desire in them to actually take action and follow you and get in tune with your content because they want to believe that you're as rich as you say you are. So if you're saying you're making a lot of money and you're doing this and you're doing that, well, you've got to show it to some degree. Now, you don't have to make it the main part of your content, which Tom Cruise doesn't, and I'll show you how he offsets this, but you do have to show that you are who you say you are. So with your lifestyle content, you have to make sure that you know your audience. For Tom Cruise's audience, that sort of lifestyle content works. For your audience, if you have a more sophisticated audience, if you're selling more B2B, that lifestyle content may not work. Like if I was to make a video like this where I'm talking about webinars and I'm talking about high level strategy for coaching businesses, and I decided to flex a yacht and Patek and, ride around in Miami, you probably wouldn't take me serious because you don't care about that. It's like, we all got money. So who cares? I want to know how I can grow my business, right? That's the point. So if you have a more sophisticated audience, you're not going to do as much flexing. But if you have a more B2C audience, then it could work. The next content pillar that he uses is day in the life or slice of life content. So this is him showing himself getting pulled over, people damaging his property, and him just joking with people in everyday scenarios. So what this does is this humanizes him to his audience, right? They see him as just a regular guy. He gets people from knowing who he is to actually liking him. This is the like part of the process. And notice a lot of his videos are actually like these FaceTime style videos or videos where someone's taking a video of him with a phone, or he's just showing what he's doing with his phone, like his iPhone. He doesn't have like a crazy content team recording him and doing all these flashy edits. He really positions himself as just a regular guy. So let's look at this video. This video has 474,000 views and it's him getting pulled over, you know, with some of his stuff coming back from the range. It has so many comments. It has a lot of people that are commenting on it. And then he still puts here, if you have at least $20,000 in cash, you can buy real estate, join my free Section 8 webinar. So it still acts as like a top of funnel video for his dream follower and ICP. So he's attracting leads with everything he's doing, but at the same time, he's humanizing himself. I got pulled over. I'm into going to the range. So he's making people like him with this video. I'm just a regular guy like you. Now I'm up, you know, I got all this stuff that I got a nice car and you can see like what I'm wearing on my wrist, right? But at the same time, I'm just a regular person that's been able to make it with Section 8. And I could teach you how to do it too. So this makes him relatable because you're seeing his struggles, you're seeing his joys, and this is helping to fulfill the like and the trust part of the process. Another video that he did was he took his Rolls Royce to a block where he owns all the Section 8 properties. And he showed, you know, the people that were engaging with him, like some of his tenants that were looking at his car and stuff like that. A lot of people look at landlords as like a-holes, right? So him humanizing himself is kind of trying to break that stigma. If you're a coach, you have to make videos like this that drive people to actually like you, because once they like you, they can start to trust you. When's the last time you gave upwards of $3,000 to $5,000 to even $10,000 to somebody that you didn't like? Probably never, you know, and if you did it, you probably regretted it. You don't want to give money to people that you don't like. So if you're a coach and you want to make more money with your coaching business, then you need to make videos to make people to actually like you. It doesn't have to necessarily be associated with your offer directly, but it should connect your audience to you as a person so that they buy into you. Because remember, people are not just buying into coaches. Everybody's coaching, right? Everybody has some sort of offer. So how do people choose between who they're going to go with and who they decide not to go with? Well, usually it's the people that they connect with the most. So in order for someone to connect with you, they have to know more about you. They have to know more dimensions of you. Like, oh, Tom Cruise likes going to the range. I like going to the range. Oh, Tom Cruise got his property damaged. I got my property damaged, right? Tom Cruise, he likes to drive in nice cars. I like to drive in nice cars, right? So now I can connect with him more than if I just knew he does Section 8 property. The next content pillar is proof-led content. What Tom Cruise does a great job of is showing his real results, showing that he's an active participant in the business model of Section 8 real estate. He doesn't just talk about it and teach it, but he actually does it. This is especially important now where we have a huge trust recession. People do not trust online coaches like that. People don't trust online education like that because they've been burned so many times, because they've heard about so many scammers, and maybe they've been scammed themselves. So when you show that you're actually doing the business that you say you are, people tend to trust you more and they tend to buy into you as a coach more as well. So he's showing his authority here. He's someone who doesn't just teach, but he actually does this. So if you look, he has a video here where he's showing his first Section 8 video. He's showing one of his properties here. He's showing some of his receipts from 2020 where he was making money from Section 8 properties. So he's showing like, yo, I actively do this. And look at some of the things that I've been through along the way. This is the stuff that separates those who maybe they make a few $1,000s a month, you know, maybe 10,000, 20,000 to those who make 100K, 200K, 300K a month, because they're actively posting what they're doing. If you don't do your business model, in this day and age, you're cooked. Now, the next style of content that Tom Cruise does a really good job of is belief-breaking and objection-handling content. He's doing Q&As on his story. So he's asking questions of his audience. What do you want to know about Section 8? Why haven't you taken action yet? These are different questions that he's asking his audience. That way he can address their fears, their doubts, their hesitations, and actually move them closer to buying his program. So what this content does is it pre-handles objections, addressing fears, doubts, and hesitations before anyone actually gets on the webinar. And then he also instills new beliefs. So if someone had a belief like, oh, I need $100,000 to own a Section 8 property, he tells them, no, actually, you only need $5,000 or $10,000, and you can get a property in the next 30 days. So he breaks their beliefs and instills new beliefs. And the last thing this does is it drives signups, because it allows those who may have been sitting on the fence, may have been thinking about doing Section 8 or getting into his program, to actually take action now. because their fears have been addressed. And those whose fears and doubts have been addressed are more likely to sign up for the webinar. So together, those content formulas get people to know, like, and trust Tom Cruz so that they eventually will buy from him. Now, if you notice, Tom Cruz posts almost every single day while he's still running his Section 8 real estate company and doing his coaching business at the same time. The reason he's able to do this is because he has an operator. He has someone who is handling the marketing side of things, building his funnels, helping him with his content strategy, and actually doing his webinars for him, like creating the slides and helping him to actually run these webinars effectively. So if you as a coach don't have anyone that's helping you to do your marketing, then you're not going to win versus the person who does. Most of the big coaches in the space have teams, and that's why they're able to be so effective with posting and fulfillment, because those are the highest leverage things that they can do. Post content and actually fulfill for their clients. Everything else can be handled by someone who focuses on marketing. Now, here's what the funnel looks like so far. Someone comes in through his content, they see one of his captions, tells them to click the link in the bio. But before they click his link, when people come to your page and they see your content, they will check out your bio. And his bio does some very good things. Now, his bio answers 4 critical questions that people ask themselves subconsciously whenever they come across your profile. The first is, who are you? Who is this person? He's obviously Tom Cruz, a Section 8 real estate investor. The next thing is this relevant to me? So because he has the free training here, it shows that he's someone who teaches people. So it might be relevant to anyone who wants to learn. The next thing is, are they legitimate? Is this a legitimate person? Do they have any proof? Do they have any results? He shows here that he has an $82 million plus portfolio, and he's the owner of 800 rental properties. Clear authority. The next thing is, what do I do next? Like, what do I have to do next from here, right? You have to give people a clear next step. And for him, that's the link to his webinar. So his bio is clear, it's concise, and it's very easy to read. Anyone who comes across this knows exactly what he's about. This is extremely important because when people come across your page, they make an unconscious judgment about who you are just based off of what your profile looks like and what your bio says. So if your bio is easy, clear, and understandable, then people are most likely going to engage with your content, that are supposed to be engaging with your content. But if your bio is all over the place and it's not easy to understand and it's confusing, most people are just going to leave the page because they don't know what to do. So once someone clicks the link in Tom Cruz's bio, they get brought to this page, how to get started with Section 8. So this is a very clear title. That's the first thing to notice. And then you see under that clear title, learn how to buy profitable properties using my secret Section 8 deal finder software and cash flow blueprint. So it shows you that you get more than just teaching. You receive something else. You receive software, which further incentivizes you to actually get on the webinar and show up. Remember, people are psychologically hardwired to do what's in their best interest. So you have to give people incentives beyond just the webinar to actually increase that show up rate. They don't care about you or your training. They only care about what they're going to get from it. The next thing we see here is it says, while only starting with $10,000, bad credit, and no real estate experience. So it's saying that anyone with $10,000 could get started with this. So this automatically qualifies and disqualifies certain parts of his audience, because we see this for people who have $10,000. So if you got less than that, you can't do this. And it also shows that credit doesn't matter. So if you were thinking, man, I got to have good credit to invest in Section 8 real estate, it completely handles that objection and says, no, you can do this with bad credit. And then it also eases the mind of those who feel like they may need experience to do this, because it says clearly you do not need experience to get started with this. Messaging is extremely important because it disqualifies and qualifies certain people, and it helps you to have good quality leads at your webinar rather than just anyone. Remember, you don't want to attract everyone. You only want to attract the people who are best suited for your offer. The next thing we see here is the call date. So the timer and the date shows specificity, and it also gives a level of scarcity and fear of missing out, of course, because once the timer goes off, you might be like, whoa, I'm going to miss the webinar. I'm not going to be able to make it. And if you're actually excited about Section 8 properties and you want to learn, they're going to want to actually show up. So that timer helps people to actually take action and register. The next thing is the lead form. So once you actually click register and you're ready to get started, you have the lead form, which collects the data and the information of your leads. So the webinar date is made clear, as well as the time zone. Also, the person here puts their information in, which of course can be used to send marketing material to them, but it also gives them reminders so that they don't forget about the webinar. This actually also allows you to have your own email list and own your data, because of course with social media, we see accounts getting shut down left and right. And if you don't own your customers, you don't own that data, then you're gonna have a tough time trying to rebuild and start from scratch. But when you actually have that email list and you have those prospects information, then you can build up using what you've gained. Your SMS list, your email list are very valuable assets. Now, once the prospect fills out their lead form and locks in their slot for the webinar, they get brought to this VIP upsell page or first thank you page. And what this page does is it upsells an offer that includes a one-on-one call with Tom Cruz's portfolio manager, as well as other bonuses that his ICP would find valuable. So the purpose of this page is to, number one, liquidate ad spend or liquidate the cost of marketing, as well as filter high intent prospects. So imagine if someone buys this, you could tell that this is a person that's really interested in this offer, and they're more likely to buy the higher ticket item as well. Now, this is also someone who you can target in ads. Imagine they don't buy on this first webinar, where you can retarget them through ads based on the fact that they bought this. So you could segment them into that population, those who bought the VIP upsell. Notice it's one core offer, a secondary offer, and 3 bonuses. This gives off the impression that it is worth way more than $27. And it's also limited, which gives a sense of scarcity. Now I want you to notice something about the video. You see Tom Cruise, he's standing in his house, he got his palms behind him, and this is all intentional. Every single video, it may seem like a small thing, but every single time he posts himself in his nice house, or he's showing the water behind him, or he's showing his yachts, or he's showing the palms, what he's doing is he's creating desire. And that desire continuing to get fed is what now will cause a person to actually take action. Now, the next page the person gets brought to is the congratulations page. Now, this congratulations page has 3 main sections. The first section is the header telling us congratulations, your seat is secured. And it also tells them that, your free trial is processing. So within the 5 to 10 minutes of the free trial processing, you can go ahead and watch this video. This video is incredibly important for both the prospect and Tom Cruise, because what it does is it determines how many people actually are going to show up to the webinar. And it ensures that people are not confused about what to do next, because if people don't know how to find the webinar link, they don't know what to do from here to ensure that they can actually get onto the webinar and see the live training, then the show up rate is going to be terrible. So this video helps to make sure that people actually can show up. Also, people watching this video is actually a micro commitment. When you make a decision and someone asks you for a favor, let's say someone asks you to do something and you do it for them, you're more likely to do another favor for them in the future. You're more likely to say yes to the next ask. So every single step of this funnel has micro commitments. Fill in your name, watch this video, add this to your calendar. The prospect doing these things actually increases the chance that they will buy the offer in the end. Now I want to break down what this video does psychologically. I'm not going to play it, but I will break it down line by line. Think about things from the prospect's point of view. They just went through his content, they clicked the link, they signed up, they're excited, they're ready to go, but the webinar isn't until Wednesday. Maybe it's Sunday. So they have a few days until they're going to actually show up to this webinar. So that means that they need to be kept in a state of excitement and anticipation. And this video seeks to do that. He tells them congratulations, which creates obviously a positive association with them signing up. And then he tells them to check their email. So that means that the invitation is going to be in their email. They must check it to make sure that they can actually join the webinar. And it also tells them that they're going to have access to a free Section 8 workshop. So it's almost like it's a bonus on top of the software, when really it's the main thing. But the software is being positioned like, yo, this is really good. So they're getting a lot out of this. It's not just a webinar. It also says that he's going to talk about 3 top secret Section 8 secrets that nobody knows about. So this helps the person to actually build more anticipation, because it's like, okay, I thought I knew everything, going through his content, but now I'm seeing that there's some more things that I don't know. Okay, I'm ready to learn. And then he goes into how this is a live workshop and he's going to be answering questions. So that way, somebody could come up with questions and, ask Tom Cruise live. And then the next thing he says is he's doing a $1,000 cash giveaway. So this $1,000 cash giveaway is another incentive on top of everything he already listed. Now you want to show up, because I could win $1,000 from just showing up to this free webinar. And then he finishes by saying, make sure you add this to your calendar. You don't want to miss this. Adding this to the calendar is probably the most important part of this whole thing, because it increases the probability that the person's actually going to show up. Not only are they going to get reminders from Tom Cruise's team, which we'll look at in a second, but they're also going to get reminders from their own Google Calendar or calendar software that they use. The next part of the congratulations page reinforces what was said in the video, giving very specific instructions as to what will happen next and what the prospective buyer should do, which increases show-up rates. Okay, this whole page is only about increasing the show-up rate, making sure people actually come to the webinar. Because if you run a webinar and nobody shows up, you did it for no reason. The final step of this page is the pre-training form. So what this page does is it actually gives Tom Cruise's team marketing data. It allows them to understand their audience so that they can make data-driven decisions. Looking at some of these questions, we see it says, how much cash do you have to invest in Section 8 rental units? How soon do you want to buy your first Section 8 property? Have you invested in real estate before? So all of these questions, they help to give Tom Cruise's operator or marketing team, that data so that they can know exactly which type of post to make. They can know how to tweak their messaging to make sure that they're actually aligning with their ICP and the people who are interacting with Tom Cruise's content. Once you sign up for the webinar, you get a pre-call email. So it just tells you like your spot is confirmed, it gives you the join link, it tells you the time, and then it also reinforces what you could get from that webinar. So it still continues to increase the anticipation, right? It says, you get the Section 8 blueprint. Here's how you can get results with me while still working a full-time job without needing credit or tens of thousands saved up. So obviously this messaging is towards a certain person, someone who has a full-time job, someone who doesn't have the best credit, and someone who doesn't have too much saved up. The next thing you get is a whole bunch of text messages, right? You get some text messages, number one, for the actual webinar. And then you get some more text messages that tell you when it's going live. So it says it's starting in 10 minutes, starting in 5 minutes, we're live. There's only 6 spots in the room. There's only 3 spots left in the room. So it creates that scarcity and causes people to take action. All of these messages serve one purpose, and that's to get people to actually show up. Now, as far as how Tom Cruise actually presents on his webinars and structures them, click the link in the description to watch a full breakdown that I did on how the top coaches are actually structuring and presenting their webinars. Now, if you're a coach, consultant, or info product owner, this is my offer to you. My agency will build your entire webinar funnel done for you on a performance-only basis, meaning that we only make money if we make you more money. We will create the ad copy. We will do the media buying. We will create the webinar funnel strategy. We will create the webinar slides. All you have to do is show up, present, and collect cash. If this interests you, click the link in my description to book a call with me and we'll go over the exact strategy that we would use to scale your offer, or hit me up on IG at NileBay and we'll talk there. Peace.